You finished it. What compelled you to continue with this particular story versus, you know,
Starting
you cut
another.
your teeth and now, you know, maybe introduce new characters? What was it about this character and her storyline that compelled you to not write 1, 2, but actually 3 books in the series?
Well, basically, everyone wanted to know what happened to Vanessa.
Okay.
So we had to fix that. And so I just determined that, okay, let's put Vanessa in her new life. And we see her transitioning from her old life to her new life at the end of book 1.
So it wasn't so much that you entered into this writing journey with Vanessa with the idea that you're going to write a series.
Not at all.
Okay, perfect.
Not at all.
Because that's one thing that I really want our viewers to hear from a writer who's an accomplished writer who's done it and who has been very successful in doing it. You know, many times we write not thinking, hey, this is one in a series of books, 2, 3, 5 books. Sometimes it just organically happens that way, and that's okay.
I think that's a good way for it to happen. That's authentic, because I think you have to be motivated to care enough about the characters yourself, to write about them in a way that they're going to show up as real people in book 2 or book 3. And I wasn't planning to do a sequel, but once I got started with the sequel, it wasn't difficult to do. It was a matter of pulling in the new people. And what's very interesting in book 2 is that we see the 2 friends together, and they're planning to go out for an evening. They've been invited to a birthday party. They meet, each one meets her dream man on the same day. And Vanessa's relationship takes off like a rocket. Flora's does not, but Flora is a lot more methodical in her interactions with men than is Vanessa. Vanessa's the more spontaneous, free-spirited one. But I think also, as this story unfolds, you see relationships developing at different paces, which is what normally happens between people. And it's just a matter of realizing that, okay, this one is coming to a close, this one is not, and then you just continue on with it.
Okay.
Did we get to the original question?
You 100,000% answered my question. So I guess, you know, the point, there are some writers that write for series because they'll end their book intentionally the way that they ended it, because they know that they're going to pick up a certain way in the second book. But in this case, which I love, it happened organically. You did not go into it knowing, thinking. So what about from book 2 to book 3?
Yeah, interesting.
Same thing?
What's interesting, not only does one continue, book 3 starts before book 2 has ended. In that final scene in book 2, book 3 is already beginning. So, but again, it picks up from there. Again, you don't really know how it's going to.
That's the beauty of writing.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think because of how I write, I don't really know what's going to happen until I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
And that it's just peculiar, Valerie, a peculiar way to write.
I think it's just so artistic.
And yet a lot happens in the development of the characters.
Yeah,
you know, and so you see, in book 3, you see Vanessa taking a back seat. She is there, but she is there only in the background, you know, and she comes forward and then she goes in the background again.
She moves to a main character to a supporting character.
She is, very much so.
So, just staying on your passion for writing, one thing that you said earlier that I just want to expound on, and honestly I can't remember if you said it on or off the air, going back to my issue about talking about it before we're actually taping, you mentioned something about the 3 books and your process for each one, or maybe I asked you that question. How much has your writing process changed between the 3 books?
Interesting question. I don't know if it's changed that much.
You got a blueprint, stay with it, it ain't broken, why fix it?
Yeah, I do.
How have you developed as a writer?
I think I've gotten better. I think when people, particularly people who are helping me edit the books, I know when we got to Flora Saga, each one was telling me, I loved it, I loved it, I loved the characters, fell in love with the books. And I'm happy to hear that, because I don't really know how people are going to respond. I only know how whether I like it or not. I have to also tell you something. Although I am essentially done with the Vanessa series.
Are you?
Not quite.
Okay, I was about to say, did you all hear that?
There's a fourth book. There's a fourth book, but it's not part of the trilogy. The trilogy, where these 2 women are pivotal characters, that's done, but there is something slipped into book 3.
Okay.
And that is regarding Flora. We didn't know Flora had twin sisters.
Oh.
And so book 4 is really the story of the twin sisters.
Okay, so Dreamcatchers, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
There is a 4th book coming. And it's going to be about Flora's twin sisters.
Which the nice thing about it, of course, because they're identical twins and because there are 2 people, we're not looking at 1 love story, we're looking at 2.
Okay.
And so it's interesting.
So you have started straight to my last question,
Yeah.
which we can continue.
Yeah.
Okay, so your current project, or your soon-to-be project, I don't know if you started writing, is book 4. What comes first for you, a working title or the title? And
good question.
because sometimes, for me, I don't know why, and I've talked to other authors, and it totally doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
I have the name of the book
Yeah.
before I get to the end of chapter 1.
Really?
Of writing.
Yeah, I think I've done that too.
It's kind of because it's like we're feeling it and we know what it's going to be about, and so sometimes it comes to me in a dream. Sometimes I'm not even really thinking about it, and it pops in my head as I'm writing the first chapter. But anyway,
interesting.
How does that work for you?
Book 2, I had no title. Book was finished. I had to run a little contest and have my readers give me titles.
I remember that.
It was
yes,
crazy.
That was a lot of fun,
And
actually.
that's where the title came from for book 2. Book 4 had the title at the beginning, The Between Years.
The Between Years.
The Between Years.
Oh, okay.
The story of Yvette and Dominique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the, and thank you for sharing your
Sure.
process between the 3 books, because I often wonder about that with writers who are, you're writing, you're basically a full-time writer. Would you say that?
I don't know. That's what I
more than part-time.
That's the only thing I do at this point.
Okay.
Because I'm
more than
retired from
part-time.
teaching. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the business of it, because I know a lot of our Dreamcatchers ask questions about that. I get it all the time, particularly writers who are publishing their own books, which is becoming more of the norm.
It is.
I think for various reasons, because there's so many ways and so many resources out there that will absolutely allow you to, without a lot of money, get that first book out into the universe. So talk to us about your journey as a publisher, because you publish your own books, and how much as it has changed from your first to your current.
I don't think, for me, the process hasn't changed that much, because I'm always very timid about trying a lot of different things.
Okay.
So I've always published hard copy books. And I realize that I'm probably going to have to go back to some of the people who helped me get the book out there and say, okay, now it's time for us to try something different. Can we add another format to this? And I'm thinking about doing that with Flora Saga, and possibly with the first Vanessa book also, since I'm sure they still have all my stuff in their database someplace.
Yeah, especially since a lot of people are moving to electronic access to that media.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that you're thinking of moving.
I am. And I think you just have to kind of wrap your brain around, some paradigms in terms of how to get the book distributed and where you want it to go, and just be content with the fact that you're getting publicity, even if you're not making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Because I think everyone thinks I'm going to write a book, it's going to be a bestseller, I'm going to, be on the New York Times, Washington Post bestseller list.
First coming out the gate.
Oh gosh, doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
It has.
It has, but it's rare. It's rare. And I think when you look at the number of books out there, there are so many thousands of books being published every single year that you're just in there with the mix of other people.
Are you on any other outlets? Some writers will write articles for mags and other publications, online publications.
Haven't done
thought about that? Okay, because that's another great way to get your name out there, to get your work out there, to promote your brand. And that really goes a long way in terms of social media.
Sure.
So,
I know. I've got a lot to learn with the business end of it. I wish I knew as much about promoting and marketing books as I do about writing books. Writing is the easy part. And everyone who's ever wanted to write a book.
Writing is the easy part?
Writing is the easy part.
Okay.
Very easy.
Okay.
Yeah. It's and I'm amazed with women who are phenomenal at marketing. They got one book, but they're phenomenal at marketing. And I'm wondering, why aren't you, marketing 6 or 7 books? And they're not. They're just doing one. And, I guess they're just those of us who can write the books fast. Someone asked me a couple of months ago, how long does it take to write a book? And I kind of shrug my shoulders. I say maybe 9 months. And when I say that, I don't mean thinking about it, writing. I mean start to finish, done, draft, finished.
There's actually going to be an author who's going to be on the Where cruise, the Writers and Readers Escape cruise that I'm going to talk about in a minute when we close out the show, who has a book about how to write a book in 30 days.
Wow.
Victor McLaughlin, you've probably heard of him. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and he's going to be on that voyage with us, and he's actually going to do a workshop on how to do that and have copies of his books available.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
on and sharing your artistry and your creativity with us. I look
course.
forward to having you back to talk about your 4th book and unpack the layers about some other stuff that we didn't have enough time to talk about, but we will.
I know.
And Dreamcatchers, thanks for tuning in and being a big part of the Haven Circle. It is my hope that you are inspired in your writer's journey as we peel back the layers and get to the heart of this writer's game. I hope the season continues to inspire you to finish your book, your script, or at the very least helping you to lay down the tracks to completion. And as always, you can stream us on any of our 9 streaming platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Alexa, Spreaker, YouTube, and the #1 network on the continent, American Legacy Network. So for more information on where to tune into our broadcasts or podcasts, visit our website at www.writershavenshow.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Author V. Helena, or on Facebook at V. Helena. Keep me posted on your progress, and perhaps I'll see you in the Haven. Now, I want to share some exciting news that many of you have already heard, but I want to make sure everyone has the information. The Haven is going international in a very big way. Phoenix Rising Entertainment has partnered with Virgin Voyages to host a Writers and Readers Escape aboard the Scarlet Lady. It's an opportunity for writers to retreat into their work and for readers to hobnob with some of their favorite authors. There'll be literary cafes, there'll be master classes, a whole host of things that will support you in your writer's journey. So just tune in to our website at www.writershavenshow.com to check out the deets. And I hope to see, and that's SEA, I hope to see you there. That's all for now, and until next time, catch fire on purpose.